Hi guys, as promised, I am back. And this time I am back bigger than ever. I'm gonna do a video on the current double feature I have. Then on top of that, giving you another one right away. It's been kind of a rough time. Obviously, the great David Lynch passed away. RIP to just the realist, man. I mean, what can you even say? I did leave something at his Bob's Big Boy little memorial. I went there. It was really great to be around, a lot of other fans and a lot of people just, celebrating, not mournful, but celebrating his contributions to this world, to this life. Um, and I was really happy I got to do it. Also LA is like completely on fire. I mean, it is just a hellscape out there. Luckily, I am grateful to be safe. We did not have to evacuate. Me being me and my dog Bugley. He's a very old English bulldog, does not move fast at all. So I was like hyper prepared for that moment because I was like, that dog's not hurrying anyway. If anything, he's gonna get us killed if we have to evacuate. I mean, he takes like one step every 15 minutes. So, God love him. We love him. We love him. We do. But in an emergency situation, we're absolutely dead in here. But beyond that, I have been dealing with a lot of new um policy changes, and not to get too personal at my job, I deal with a lot of social policy and a lot of federal funding things. So that's been pretty tough to navigate that. But on the topic of movies, because I have been watching a lot to kind of keep my mind off of everything going on right now. Um, and let me tell you about the double feature I have for you today. So I picked the 1996. Let me verify that. I'm gonna look at the thing because I have these tips in my hand to hear the crinkling. It was 96, right? Was it 96? Someone fact check me on that. I think it's 96. Um, but film by Danny Boyle, Trainspotting, with Better Man, that came out recently in 2024. And that's really why I wanted to highlight this. Obviously, we all love Trainspotting. I love Trainspotting. But I really wanted to highlight Better Man because I have to tell you, I have to admit this, and it is in my deep hot shame that I'm doing so. But I was not all in on a Better Man. I keep calling it a Better Man. Okay, but I wasn't all in Better Man at first. But I wasn't into it at first. Of course, like, look, here's the thing that I just want to get this off my chest. I know who Robbie Williams is. And anyone acting like they're so like woefully unfamiliar, like who is that? They're liars or they've been living under a rock. He had several hits in America, okay? He was on TRL for fuck's sake. I mean, my sister had like Sarah Williams scrawled all over her goddamn binder. If I'm not mistaken, he was, if he didn't have a goddamn centerfold in Tiger Beat, he was in it. Okay. Like, I'm telling you, like an institution. Okay. Tiger Beat, an institution. Anyone who knows, you fucking know. But I feel like I'm going crazy with this whole discourse that we don't know who Robbie Williams is. Yes, you do. Okay. Like, I just, like, how dare you? I feel like, are my countrymen such, like, charlatans? I mean, I don't understand where this is coming from. And apparently they are. They are Philistines, they are charlatans because we have let this fail at the box office. And I am sorry to Robbie Williams for it. We know who you are. These people, I don't know. People like to go online and they like to lie. And I'm not for it. I'm not about it. You should know, you people know who you are. Okay. And even if you didn't, I feel like check it out. I mean, whatever. I just like, what, I'm gonna get over this in a second, but it's making me feel a little bit crazy. Um, so all of this to kind of say, that ignorance, wasn't my problem with Better Man. Um, you know what the thing is? Here's the shame. I just couldn't get over the ape of it all, okay? Like, I was like, why is he an ape? Like, why is no one commenting on it? Why is he the only one? Could I connect with this junkie monkey? And you know what the answer is? Absolutely, I can. And I did. And to the other two questions, like, who cares? It's cinema, baby. That's just get with it. Um, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. So let's get into it. Not to be so morose. Trust me, my next video is like a total like 180 from this one because this one gets a little bit morose. So just warning you. So I know I mentioned like my line of work earlier, and like I don't want to get like too personal talk about what I do and all this kind of stuff, but and not try to be reveal too much identity. I know I'm like on camera. That's kind of a ridiculous thing to say, but um, in my line of work, I have seen a fair share of current and former drug addicted clients, among many others too. But that's certainly a portion of the population of my clients. And I just hate to say this because I don't want to sound like an overeducated idiot, but like I watched a lot of TED Talks in my grad school days, and I liked most of them. I mean, it's like the thing is, it's like I'm kind of embarrassed to admit it, but like out of respect, like please just never repeat this outside of this like sacred space of confession. But I I really did enjoy some of them, and one of those godforsaken things was this really kind of illuminating, which that makes me sound like the world's biggest asshole. Like it's an illuminating talk. Like I'm embarrassed, but like take this moment of vulnerability as a compliment and forget about it. Throw it out of your mind and never speak of it again. Um, but there is this talk given by Johan Ari, and he talks about addiction and how everything you know about addiction is wrong. I am actually going to link the TED Talk like in the description. So if you're interested, you can check it out. It's a really great TED Talk, and in the talk, he kind of talks about social bonds theory, and it essentially boils down to animals are social beings. He talks about this rat experiment. In the video, and it's like basically like rats, humans, or in Robbie Williams' case, apes. We seek connection, we seek out connection, and if we can't find this in other animals, we're simply just going to turn to whatever will supply that feeling of togetherness. And because he kind of asked this at the beginning of the video, and I think it's kind of just apropos, is that how many of you have tried like heroin or meth or crack? Because it's not like drugs and alcohol aren't easy to find. They're easy to find. They're more than enjoyable to take. And, so why aren't we all these kind of raving addicts walking around? And, and maybe look, you feel your loneliness like with other addictions, like even things simple as food or those online dopamine inducing validation thirst traps, like, whatever it is, we all kind of have this to a certain degree, but it's like, what makes Robbie Williams and Renton of Trainspotting so different? Um, and I will say they are a different kind of addict too, because the abusers that I would see as clients were kind of your stereotypical, addicts. They started drinking using hard drugs before they barely hit double digits, years of neglect, abuse, and they kind of just wind up this husk with seemingly nothing left to live for. And, sometimes their body like literally melting itself from the inside out. It gets really disgusting, drug addiction. I don't think I before I started doing this line of work, I had never heard about that or really seen it in person before. So that was kind of like, oh wow. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You're doing hard drugs and it's going to literally like melt you from the inside out, but it's very jarring to see in person. And so, and even that is can't even begin to kind of illustrate the horrors of their past and what's lurking in their mind. So um you get it. It's like they feel that this is the end of the line. There's something else to live for, so why not? um But, we got Robbie, we got Brenton, and it's like, oh, I don't know, would I really classify them as those types of people? Like, they actually kind of have a life worth living, right? I mean, not kind of, they do. Um, they have these social bonds, they have supports. I mean, Renton has his concerned parents, which kind of results as a privilege in the courtroom, right? And kind of is the thing that kind of helps him through this. And Robbie has his nan and his mom, and later a way too patient fiance. Um, and still, like, these guys just, they can't seem to fixate on anything else but this kind of gluttonous void. And, Renton kind of plays it off like he's just popping in and out of a lifestyle like it's a fad, you know? Although you would think like a dead baby and an almost fatal overdose, like those might be the haunting signs, maybe like hang up the cape, call it quits. Um, but somehow he just can't stay away from that siren call of risky behavior, huh? Um, and Robbie, he kind of minimizes the love that he is getting while kind of fixating on the love he isn't. And I mean, I really do have to give him credit because gaining international success and fame just to win your dad's love seems like such a far-fetched, fanciful, delusional, unnecessarily difficult route. But damn, if he didn't make it, if he didn't do it, if he didn't make it work, I mean, that kudos, really. I mean, if you're gonna take something like that toxic and like turn it into that, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it's impressive. Um, but and through this, he kind of earned all these people's love, except the persons that he wanted the most. Really just classic with these guys. They couldn't appreciate the forest through the trees, right? And well, yes, like I do want to say this. I believe that class, especially in the UK, is a really like glaring and depressing issue, and something that is meaningful in discussions like this. But I think just for this, just to keep it kind of, um, shorter, because that's, I feel like, a much longer topic. And I still don't think, through all of my studies, all of my career, all of this kind of stuff, it still doesn't just mean half as much as that's those social bonds and social connection, to be quite honest. Because once again, like how many people have grown up in abject poverty or working class who are not, you know, um, substance users. So, um, having said all that, it isn't all morose. I thought Better Man was a much better musical than others this year. Shots fired. Okay, shots fired. Shots fired on that one. Um, and you know what? I enjoyed seeing an ape go bleach blonde. I really did. I loved it. And, so somehow this whole like aptness of the whole apeness of it all, it seemed to work so well. It was an avant-garde dedication, that we should appreciate more these days. We really should. This was a very, very creative choice and dedication, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And Trainspotting, of course, it's got its characters. We have Franco, who has that kind of like fun, pesky derangement to the crew, and we got Sick Boy and his schemes, and Tommy and his unfortunate end, but the kitten was okay. So that was like I really appreciated that Danny Boyle was like, we gotta make a point to let them know the kitten was okay. Because the first time I saw this, I was really nervous about that damn kitten. I was like, okay, like Tommy died, but like the kitten though, and he was so cute, and you just wanted to be like, but he's good, right? And he was. Spoiler alert, the kitten is great. Baby dies, Tommy dies. The kitten survives. The kitten lives though, so at least we have that. And Spud, sweet, precious Spud. And, these are my boys. They really are my crazed, my violent, psychopathic, drug addicted, really remorseless boys. But they are. You love hanging out with them, like not in real life, but cinematically, it's like, you know what? I love popping that on. I love hanging out with the boys. I really do. I love it so much. Um, and then also, we kind of view the ups and downs of heroin through the very hallucinatory highs, and then the very nightmarish withdrawals, obviously, in train spotting. And both of these are shot in this very like high octane, like MTV style that the kids loved so much when Robbie was at the heights of his fame, and then in America at least, and then Trainspotting, kind of helped popularize that. So I thought that was like a cool kind of thing between them. And, while most like the protagonists are like these quippy and, cheeky. I had to get like British there, but I had to do it to you. I had to do it. But just kind of hidden beneath all this kind of quippiness was this really shallow surface. And this is the whole point. We're getting to the whole point of why I talked all this shit up. Um, is the emptiness of the Gen X man. And, I have to say, they're my favorite generation of men. Their achy joints and even angstier moods as they're kind of approaching their twilight years. I just find it so endearing. So adorable. But, I think it really comes from this place of this generation raised in a societal decline rather than like this economic and geopolitical adversity that the generations before them had grown up in. And I think this kind of, made it so their parents weren't really concerned with leaving them a better world, just a more comfortable one. And, this sort of piece of conformity, a little worry, a little strife, the bare necessity. I mean, not the bare necessity, like I'm not going to go off on the whole song because it doesn't really, just that one little part really, really kind of relates to this. But, so don't get too caught up in the bare necessities, but like it, that conformity, that piece of conformity, the comfortability, it kind of bred this hole in the Gen X man. And that can only be the makings of this like childhood so free that kind of plateaued into these shackles of adulthood. And, it's like, it's not a bad life, wasn't a bad life, but it wasn't so great either. Um, it's like being promised a chocolate factory and then getting there and you see cardboard and Party City decor and bored actors who, have succumbed to that same numbness of averageness. And I think that's the biggest fear of the Gen Xer is this averageness, this conformity, and to end it on kind of a happy note, I guess. Even though a slew of Renton's mates. I had to do it. I had to do it. It's this thematic. I had to go there. A lot of his friends, made they moved beyond the grave. But hey, man, him and Robbie are still kicking. Maybe Punk's not dead after all. Gen X. Maybe it isn't. But I do fear, like after you very amusingly bitter olds, um, start to move beyond the grave. I kind of fear this movement will pass into this quiet, uh, comfortable light. And I think the only thing kind of saving it are the voices like these. And that's why I think these two go together so well. I absolutely 100% recommend. I mean, because you failed Better Man so hard, it's no longer in theaters probably. Um, but check it out when it comes to streaming. Obviously, always Trainspotting is available. I mean, obviously, like, look, I have the physical copy, like, not to like boast, but I do have a physical copy. But it's streaming, and everybody loves Trainspotting, and if you don't know who Robbie Williams is, then you're in for a treat. But trust me, you're gonna recognize the music, and like everybody does, okay? So thank you for bearing with me. Please check those out. And like I always do, link to my letterbox. And thanks for watching.